5 signs you're avoiding intimacy is today's topic. Now, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do that. If you have a question about this or any other topic, please do that, and we will respond to you as soon as possible, so stay tuned. Well, today's topic is 5 signs that you're avoiding intimacy. Now, if you're watching this, you're probably in a relationship with someone who's avoiding intimacy, as well as maybe someone who's avoiding intimacy. So I'm going to try to balance that conversation. But if you're avoiding intimacy, okay, you probably have a history of short-term relationships. Just think through your relationship history. If they all end in 3 months, 6 months, or less than a year, you're avoiding intimacy, the kind of intimacy where your heart really needs to show up. You can do the entertainment, you can do the surface relationship, but when it comes to really showing up with your heart, you avoid that. There's something about really opening up to someone, that vulnerability, and you might be just simply afraid of being vulnerable. The second reason that you could possibly be avoiding intimacy. Now, we probably should talk about what intimacy is. Intimacy is, intimacy. It is me opening up my spirit, soul to you, trusting you with my heart, trusting you with my life, trusting you even with possibly things I haven't told anyone. Okay, I feel safe with you. Well, the second reason might be the fear of rejection. Because if you really fear that deep down inside that you're going to be rejected, it's not a game you want to play. It's kind of like being on the team that every time you go out on the field or court, you're going to lose. So after doing that for a season, you don't want to go back out and play. And maybe you have been rejected, or maybe you've really never taken the chance to be accepted. But the fear of being rejected, the fear that if I get in a relationship with this person, they're going to push me away at some point. I've never had a relationship last. No one wants to really marry me. There's no relationship for life. It's all a scam. And so you believe some lies to rationalize why you can't be all in, because you're really afraid of being rejected. And that's something you probably want to talk to someone about so that you can heal that, because you could be accepted. And maybe that's another issue for you. But there is relationships where you can be accepted, known, you're imperfect, they're imperfect. They'll expect you to accept some of the things that are flaws in them, and you'll accept some of the flaws in them, and you can work it out. Now, another reason you might be afraid of intimacy is addiction. You might have an addiction that you are strongly afraid that if someone gets too close to you, they're going to kind of tap you and say, you know what, you can't be drinking like that. You can't be doing that kind of drug anymore. You can't be doing porn anymore. You can't be seeing other people and using them like sex toys. You can't be working 70 hours a week. And you don't want someone in your life telling you what you can't do. You don't want someone dealing with your little pile of, this is how I medicate my life, this is how I've always medicated my life. So I don't want someone coming in unless they share that addiction. Like if we're both alcoholics, that's great. We'll both go to bars and get drunk until 2 o'clock in the morning and get up at 5 and go to work. Like maybe that'll work. But someone who doesn't have your addiction, you're not going to necessarily want to be intimate with, because you don't want your addiction to be threatened. Now, if you have an addiction in your life, you've tried to stop, you can't stop, you've had consequences, you go through withdrawals if you don't have it, and you have some of the symptoms of addiction, you could Google those. You might want to address that, because it's going to keep you from intimacy. Because if your addiction is where you're intimate, if your addiction is where you're safe, if addiction is where you feel strong, then you can live a life alone with your addiction. And addictions can take you out from relationships, out from functioning with intimacy. And so that could be simply a reason that you're avoiding intimacy. Now, Another reason is secrets. And I'm not talking about good secrets. I'm talking about secrets of things you've done or things that have been done to you. Some people who've been raped are sexually abused, men or women. They really are afraid of intimacy because that kind of trauma really did some damage. Now, I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. I understand that. It can really damage you. But I'm also someone who's done healing and had successful intimate relationships. And so I know you can do that. But if you have a secret, especially related to sexual abuse or rape or trauma like that, or you've done something very sexual or otherwise that you're very ashamed of, and you have a secret like that, you're going to want to get some professional help and deal with that. Because as long as you don't deal with it, it's going to keep you from intimacy. And so it's radically important that you reach out for help. You can call our office, 719-278-3708, and get some help with sexual trauma, or if you've been raped, or if you have some other deep secret, okay? And get moving in the right direction, because that secret can sideline you from relationships because you really don't think, you're really worthy of a relationship. You're going to have what we're going to talk about next. You're going to struggle with that belief system. And so this is a real big issue. I mean, 1/3 of women, 15% of men have these kind of secrets. And I've worked with people for over 35 years, and I can tell you how many hundreds of men and women. I was the first person they told, because I asked them, how old were you when your first sexual encounter, and how old was the other person? If there's like years of difference, you were sexually abused, whether it was a man or a woman. A man that was, 16 and she was 30 was sexually abused. He didn't get lucky. All right. And so these secrets can be a problem for you. Now, the next thing is a belief that says, if you really knew me, you wouldn't love me. And it's different than just being rejected. It's like, I'm not lovable. It's like, I got things in my life or my heart or my history or my family of origin that if you really knew, you would be so repulsed by me that you wouldn't love me. Because I am repulsed by me. Whether I did it or it was done to me, whatever the reason, I've come up with this belief, and I really, really, really believe it, that I am unlovable. And because I'm unlovable, I don't want intimacy, because all I'm going to find out is I'm unlovable. And because I believe that, I keep setting up relationships to fail, because I don't want to get to that place where we talk about stuff that I'm uncomfortable with and that I've rejected myself. So if you've rejected parts of yourself, this could be a significant reason as to why you are not wanting to engage in intimacy. So if you're struggling in any of these, okay, or if you have, there are psychological disorders, schizoid personality, if you have intimacy anorexia, Google that. When you get into a relationship, you withhold, you're busy, you blame, you criticize, you push people away. There are lots of reasons, even depression or some other things could cause you to want to avoid intimacy. We could have easily made a list of 10 or 20 or 30 here. But these are some of the ones that I see happen in my office a lot. If you are struggling and you haven't figured out what's going on, I really strongly encourage you to talk to somebody and find out. You deserve intimacy, you deserve to be loved, you deserve to be known, and there is probably someone out there that would really enjoy being with you and connecting with you and loving you and having a romantic relationship and all the benefits that go with that. So I hope this has been helpful. If you need help, reach out. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you have a question about this, please just put it in the box and we'll get back to it as soon as possible. So thank you for being with us today. And there's lots of things we talk about. So if you subscribe, you'll be notified, and check out other topics. Have a great day.